that something in you where you wanted to strive for better. So describe for me, what has your journey been like in life?
The journey it's been very hard because, I was on public assistance, so it was like, at first it was a boundary there. Anybody knows about public assistance, they don't want you to go so far or they don't cut it off.
When you describe yourself now, tell me, who's Freddie Stevenson, the man that you are now?
A few years ago, I remember in college, they would always have speakers come in and ask us who we are. I wouldn't have been able to answer the question. It probably would have had something to do with football. I'm a fullback for Florida State. I want to play in the NFL. But now it's just simple. I'm Freddie Stevenson, man of purpose.
This is a passion of mine. The whole premise behind the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast is to spotlight the fact that it is now time for you to get your dope comeback story.
Hey, say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz.
Every Monday, I call people into a studio and we dig into their comeback stories, because I know that we see people in their glory and we see people when they're on top, when they can have that silver lining to them, but we all go through some things, right? We all go through some things, and I think once we're real with people and we let people know the trials and tribulations that we've gone through, it only makes us human and it connects one of us.
So I just want to know, what would be your advice to someone who is looking to start their own podcast?
First and foremost, let me back up. Find your voice. What are you going to talk about? Is it something that people want to listen to? How long will your podcast be? What's going to be the consistency of your podcast? Are you going to do it like weekly, daily? Are you going to do it monthly? So once you find that, because that's going to indicate if somebody wants to listen to your podcast or not.
I do know how I'm doing it. I'm doing it with God. I'm doing it because this is a passion of mine. And when you are passionate about something, you're not going to stop. So it really it comes down to how bad do you want it. Happy Monday, Jazzie crew. It is a fantastic Monday. I was about to take us back to June, but July 7th, 2025, you know that you are in tune to this podcast if you are a member of my Jazzie crew, and you are simply a member of my Jazzie crew by doing some simple steps. Number one, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you are following me on all of our streaming podcasts platforms. Make sure that while you're on YouTube, you hit the notifications bell. Make sure that you like the post. Make sure that you leave a review in the comment section. And in order for you to leave a review in the comment section, you have to listen to the podcast, because we really want to know how you like the episode. What did you learn from the episode? What questions do you have after seeing the episode? And we definitely want you to keep in contact with the special guests who share their comeback stories on our podcast, all right? So save the date. On November 8th, Saturday, November 8th, we will be celebrating 4 years of podcasting. So that is amazing, right? It's an amazing achievement, and I cannot wait to celebrate with you, my Jazzie crew. Tickets will be going on sale very, very soon, and I cannot wait. Every year, I meet some of the most dope guests ever who do something very special. They come on this podcast and they share their comeback story. I truly believe you can come back from anything with God, the right resources, using those resources effectively, and your willingness to do the necessary work. And so my special guest for episode 158 has definitely followed that formula. She definitely uses God. She definitely uses her resources effectively, and yes, she does put in the work. So as soon as I read this bio, you will know exactly why I am saying that. She's no stranger to the show. She's actually probably one of the the guest who has appeared on the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast the most. And so in a second, you will see why she continues to be invited over and over. She's so dynamic. I love her story. And I want you to be introduced to her and love her as well. And so without further ado, I am going to introduce to you my guest for episode 158, Miss Simone McFarlane-Tucker. Now, Simone McFarlane-Tucker is the CEO of Girls Leave a Mark Inc. And Girls Leave a Mark Inc. is more than just a nonprofit, you guys. Now, for the month of July, I am spotlighting nonprofits. So, it's more than a nonprofit, okay? It is a movement birthed from lived experiences, built to break generational curses, and committed to build strategies. Founded by my special guest, Miss Simone McFarlane-Tucker. She's the owner of GLAMour Tag Consultation Services, and she's the co-founder she co-founded Girls Leave a Mark with Miss Quanda Forbes, who's the owner of Jewel House Entertainment, both former teen moms who turned adversity into advocacy. GLAM was created to ensure no young woman walks her journey alone. Simone, who faced homelessness, abuse, and overwhelming odds while raising children and pursuing her education, understands what it means to fight for your future without a roadmap or a cheerleader. Quanda brings her own powerful story of resilience and reinvention, having navigated motherhood at a young age as well, while building a purpose-driven career in entertainment and empowerment. Now, together they built Girls Leave a Mark to be the village that so many young girls are missing today. The mission is to empower young girls ages 13 to 24, especially our teen mothers and at-risk youth, to reclaim their voice, rise above their circumstances, and create lives full of purpose, self-sufficiency, and, of course, success. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Simone McFarlane-Tucker to the stage. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I feel like you a little bit today because I'm running here, I'm running there, and I'm like, how does Simone do it? So how are you today?
I am relaxed. My husband wakes me off to Clearwater this weekend, and it was a much needed reset button. And I came into the office today just running as usual.
I love that. Well, listen, describe for me just a typical day in your shoes. What does that look like?
Who?
Exactly. Who?
Oh geez. My day varies. You know, I look at my calendar every morning and I'd be like, okay, I got this to do, I got this to do, this to do. And then next thing you know, I'm getting thrown with all of these things. Like today, I had pretty much a clear schedule all morning. The only thing I had to do was to meet with my virtual assistant. I got hit with, we had about 3 visitors this morning. We had Okima come by, she shopped at the store. We had Shelby come and drop off donations. Christina, our grant writer, came by to see me. So it completely kind of threw me off today, but I wouldn't have changed it for nothing in the world. And that's essentially how it happens every day. I can have my day lined up and God's like, nope, it's going to be this today.
It's going to be this because that is the life of a true entrepreneur. And so I will say one of the milestones that you did celebrate prior to after your last viewing on this podcast is that you earned your MBA. And so congratulations to you on that.
Ooh, yes.
About the journey with that, because I know that was a huge milestone for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny because when I got my associates, GEICO paid for that. When I got paid for most of it. And when I got my bachelor's, Progressive paid for it. So by the time I thought about doing my master's, I didn't work for anybody. I was working for myself at the time, but my husband encouraged me. He was like, hey, you know, if you want to go back to school, go back to school. And so I ended up going back to school for my master's. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this because I don't ever plan to go work full time for somebody else. But I knew I wanted that knowledge behind business, and I knew there were still pieces that I needed. Wow. And so I enrolled at WGU. And when I'm telling you, it was an amazing experience. Now, in my head, I told myself, I'll be done with this in 6 months. You know, I only got to do 10 courses. It's all competency based. I'll be done with this in 6 months because I finished my associates in the year. I finished my bachelor's in the year. So I'm like, master's can't be that much harder. I already got the foundation. I should just be able to roll right into it. Yeah. Well, I didn't plan on getting pregnant. I didn't plan on getting married. Families. So it was a huge transition. But I finally got through it. And it actually worked out perfect because I graduated with my master's in March and February. And then my daughter graduated high school in May. So, it was kind of nice for us to myself, my son, and my daughter. My son graduated 2 years ago in 2023. It was nice for all of us to put our gowns on and go and visit my mom with our gowns because she couldn't come to the graduation. So it's been a journey. When I'm telling you, even though I have some debt behind it, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world because the skills that I learned getting my master's degree have literally spent my business around the block. Not just my for-profit, but also, of course, the nonprofit as well. So I'm super happy that I went back, and I would encourage anybody. I don't care how old you are. If you want to go back to school, if you feel like you don't know enough, go back. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Do what you have to do for you to get that education because it's super important now. I know I'm 37, so when I was back in the day, a high school diploma was sufficient to be able to get a good job. And then once you get the high school diploma, then a bachelor's was sufficient. But now you need to have a master's or up to be able to really, get the good pay. So it's super important. And there are so many programs out there that would help you along that journey. And people, like you said, you use your resources. Don't be afraid to ask. I'm that person that the worst you can tell me is no. And if you tell me no, I'm going to find someone that's going to tell me yes. So
go right
go right around you.
Letting you know, just letting you know. And so, listen. So it's so surreal to sit here and listen to you map out just that journey of you getting your master's degree because, just being fortunate enough to be around you to see how you maneuver in business and just to see how it all unfolds. Like I'm looking at you when you're using new systems. I'm looking at you when you're using new verbiage or you're using new protocols. And I'm like, come on, education. That's what I'm talking about. Get us together with the business degree. Let's go. Like, no, actually, you cannot do this because da 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 da. And so I again just want to say, kudos to you because your journey has not been an easy one at all. And I just want to say, first of all, before we even dive really, really deep into this podcast episode, speaking of surreal, it's just surreal every time I see that teaser from my 1-year podcast anniversary live show when we did not know each other than just you reaching out to me in my inbox, asking, how could you guys get tickets to the podcast event? And then actually having you on film asking about a podcast. And so when you talk about you not being afraid to ask the questions, you are not. And that is exemplified in this clip every single Monday in the teaser of this show. You are part of it, right? And so I look at that that was 4 years ago come November. And so we're going on 4 years of knowing one another and then just me being able to hear you peel back the layers of your journey. I'm in awe and I'm amazed because you started off as a teen mom, and you just talk about all of the things that you had to do to secure a great future for your kids. But then not only that, you went through an abusive relationship, you talk about your own personal abuse, and then you decided not to play a woe is me game. You decided to definitely turn all those trials into something that we can marvel at and just say, wow, like you've overcome this. Like you've definitely made your comeback. And so I love your story. Like I love your journey. And I just want to just go back into just a cornerstone of that. When you look back on everything that you have gone through, what's your why? Like, what's your why? And then what's your how? Your why and your how did you do it?
It sums up to the same thing. My kids, I went through a lot and had a lot of experiences in life, and I didn't want my kids to have to go through that. And then as it evolved, I realized that there are so many girls, there are so many young people that are dealing with the things now that I dealt with, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so GLAM became my why. GLAM became this is my gift back to the community. God has poured all of this knowledge into me. A lot of the things I know how to do, I was never taught. I learned how to do it myself, like building websites and doing graphic design. Those are things that were self-taught. Now, I can only imagine if I went to school for it.
Yeah.
It would just be completely insane. And don't think I'm planning on going back to school for full within the next 2 years. I definitely plan on going back to school. But it's like God poured all of this into me, and I have to share it with someone else. Like when I die, I don't want it to die with me. I want that legacy to carry on, whether it be through my kids or whether it be through somebody else's kids. But that legacy has to live on. And that has become my why now.
Now your how. How did you do it? Because that how, we ask people why a lot, but that how is so critical, because that how is what really could catapult someone into believing that they can do it as well. That how is so important.
Oh, yeah. And I would definitely say God and having faith and not taking no for an answer. Yeah. I'm 37, and ever since I could remember, I don't take no for an answer. Work, school, with my husband, I just do not accept no for an answer. And I'm never scared to ask. Of course, there are times where we hear no. And once you get to the top and you hear that no, that's kind of it. But I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to, like you said, utilize my resources the correct way. Right. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people is they use their I want to emphasize on use their resources the wrong way. And then when they're not getting the information as quickly as they want to move on to the next person. But it doesn't work like that. You have to build a relationship. You have to build rapport. You just can't jump in someone's inbox. Hey, You need to build rapport with that person. So I would definitely say, God, utilizing my resources and not taking no for an answer.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that a lot. And so you decided, along with Quanda, to go down this journey of giving back to the community through a nonprofit. Out of all of the things that you are already doing, GLAMour Tag is a full service, well-oiled machine with, you have your background checks, fingerprinting, you have travel agency, you have notary services, marketing services. The list goes on, and if you want to add to the list, please feel free to plug it. But it's like I'm trying to think of all of the things that you are into and that you are efficient with. And so, what did you say? You know what? Let's just add a nonprofit to it. I got time today. How do we come to that ground?
To be honest, I didn't even know what all it took to run a nonprofit.
Please go into that.
To run a nonprofit, yes. So how Girls Leave a Mark was formed is me and Kira had opened up our first office at 𝑀𝑎𝑟𝑘. So you distracted me. Okay, you good? Okay, yeah, that's it. My son was doing some video. I'm like, okay, you distracted me. So we opened up our first office in Arbondale, and our office was probably only about 10 by 10. It wasn't probably no bigger, probably a tad bit bigger than the office I have, my office at the new office. Yeah. And I remember trying to fit GLAMour Tag Consultation Services. That's a lot of words and a lot of letters on the wall, and it would not fit. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to say GLAM. And so I got these big G, big L, big A, big M, spray painted it pink, that's our color, and threw it on the wall. I was like, I like that acronym. I have to do something with that acronym. So about a year later, we were pulling into the McDonald's in Arbondale, right off of Havendale Boulevard. And I said, Girls Leave a Mark, to Kira. And she was like, okay, calm down. What about it? I said, that's the acronym for GLAM. She was like, okay, great. What now? What? I'm like, I don't know, but that's the acronym. We're going to have to do something with that. A year later after that, so now 2 years now, my son gets sick. Applejack, one who was just in here, he gets sick with he has really bad asthma, and so I'm sitting in CVS parking lot. I'm like, I want, what can I do with Girls Leave a Mark? What can I do with this? Like, should this be a nonprofit? I know, Girls Leave a Mark, so I know it has to be something about empowering girls, but should it be a nonprofit? Should it be a for-profit? So that's when I called my advisor, Miss Jane Waters Murphy.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, Simone, that should be a nonprofit. That has to be a nonprofit. She's like, I'm busy right now. Give me a call this evening. We'll hop on a Zoom. We'll discuss it. We were on that Zoom for 4 hours. She told me all the reasons of why it needed to be a nonprofit and how it would affect the community by it being a nonprofit, and the support I'll be able to get from the community if it was a nonprofit versus it being a for-profit. So I'm like, oh my God, I've heard people talk about doing nonprofit structure. I knew someone that did nonprofit, and they made it seem like it was like just super hard to do.
Yeah.
So went on YouTube, watched probably 3 or 4 videos, and within 24 hours, we already had formed the articles of incorporation. That following Monday, I did the 501c3. We got the 501c3 back. I did the solicitation of charitable contribution, and it all took no more than 6 weeks.
Plus, it does not. Now, listen, those of y'all out here listening, it does not normally take that short amount of time.
It does not. Yeah.
However, when God is in the midst, he's just in the midst, and his timing is perfect timing. So every time, when I first heard you tell that story, I didn't know that you consulted with Jane and watched those YouTube videos, but just that timeline that you gave, I was looking at you like, what? Because I've been a part of an organization where we formed a nonprofit, and I just remember like, oh my gosh, how many meetings do we have to go to or come to before it is? I was just like, if you called me one more time for another meeting,
I'm done.
I'm just like, I was meeting out, and I'm just like, I heard you talk about this process, and I'm like, what? Like, what?
We literally applied. I'll never forget this. It was on a Thursday. It was 6:46 p.m. I'll never forget, because I told my kids, I said, we're going to be gone by 7. Just let me apply for this articles of incorporation before I leave, so that way I at least feel like I did something today. I applied for it. It was 6:46 when I submitted it. I came back in the next day, Friday, 10 a.m. I had got an email saying that the articles of incorporation was approved. And I was like, oh my God, it took me almost 3 weeks to get my LLC. Everybody says that this takes forever. Like, what is going on? And I knew that it obviously was ordained by God for it to not even be 24 hours. That Monday, I watched a little bit more videos over the weekend. And then that Monday, I felt comfortable enough to go ahead and apply for my 501c3. I applied for the 501c3. September 1st, it got approved. And I was just like, oh my gosh, everybody says this takes months on top of months on top of months. We got ours in 4 weeks. Now I help clients do the same thing. And for whatever, like you said, that was God, because I have a client, I applied for her 501c3 in May? I want to say it was May, like the first week of May, and we still have not heard anything back.
I was going to say, the way that you're saying in May, it sounds like it probably is still in the process of
in April.
Which is so crazy to me. Yeah. But I mean, it's a timetable.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the differences between the for-profit and the nonprofit. I was I can't remember what podcast I was just watching, but when I say I was dying laughing, because someone was making the point of, you're in business and your the goals that you have don't align with a nonprofit. You want to do all of these things and you're thinking that it's going to bring you this revenue, and they just sat in it like they would not let up on this person. They were saying, but you want a nonprofit. You mean a for-profit or a nonprofit? Like, they just kept going back with that. And I was just like, the person just wasn't getting it. And I mean, it was just like, so to sum it up, at the end, they were just like, listen, you need a for-profit. Mm-hmm. Like, stop going down. I think what it was is they were listening to all of the perks that come along with a nonprofit, and they were just so hell-bent on just, I want this nonprofit. I want to be able to say that I have a nonprofit. And the person was just sitting there looking at them like, no, you don't. Like, are you sure that's what you want? Like, because you are screaming for profit, not nonprofit. So tell us, like, some of the some of the differences and similarities, really just the differences between the nonprofit and the for-profit.
So what a nonprofit is essentially owned by the community. So if you have bylaws that you have to set, which is like your governance of it, it's like your laws of that particular organization. And if it's found that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you can be removed. Nonprofits are typically, from my understanding, or at least from what we do, it's community-based. So it's something that's giving back to the community. Whereas a for-profit, you're looking to obviously make a profit. Now, people tend to think that with nonprofits, you can't make money. Right. You definitely can, just depending on, how can I say this? Depending on where you are, what your title is. Right. Now, if you come in, if you're on the board, no, you cannot earn income if you're on the board. Your business can. So if you have a business, your business can, but you as a person cannot be paid to be on the board, at least not for the type of nonprofit that we have, or any nonprofit that I can think of, actually. With for-profits, it's typically like a service or a good. So say, for example, you're a notary. You wouldn't want that to be a nonprofit. You want to be able to make a profit off of that. But now say you're a person that, and you could have both. You could have a for-profit. So say you're a caterer and you cook food. You want to be able to sell plates and make money off those plates. That's the for-profit. And then you can have a nonprofit side of that too, where you're making plates for the homeless. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else? Nonprofits are definitely cheaper with the annual renewal. Yes. So for profits, I think they just gone up to like almost $150 every year, whereas nonprofits are $68. Mm-hmm. There are a lot when you have a nonprofit, especially if it's given like for the community, you really want to pay attention to what's going on in the world, because what's going on in the world could affect you. It could affect you getting grants. It could affect you, asking donors for money or asking people for money. If everybody in your immediate community is struggling, nobody's going to be able to donate to your nonprofit. So I think the first thing to do when you're trying to decide if you want to do a nonprofit or for-profit, first figure out what is it that you do. Do you do hair? Do you do nails? Are you a notary? Is it a service or is it a good that you're going to be offering? And then kind of trickle from there. Mm-hmm. I already had the for-profit side. I had GLAMour Tag. That was my for-profit. So I knew for me, once after having that conversation with Miss Jane, I knew it just made sense to have a nonprofit because this was my give back to the community. And I wanted it to be separate from GLAMour Tag.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And then just moving on in the conversation, I'm going to give you a moment to do your elevator pitch. If you are talking to me and I am a potential donor for GLAM, sell me on GLAM. Tell me what GLAM does. And I won't put any other stipulations on it. I'm a potential donor, sponsor for GLAM. And so, hey, what's GLAM about?
All right, so my name is Simone. I am the founder of Girls Leave a Mark. We are a nonprofit that supports teenage mothers and at-risk youth. We have about 13 workshops that range anywhere from financial literacy to leadership to career development to self-love, self-care, to teach these kids life skills, to teach them about loving themselves, to teach them things that they can't learn at a traditional school. Oh goodness, I just had a brain fart. We have been around. We are been around now for about 2 years, and we are located in Winter Haven. We do our workshops right in-house. So the benefits of the students coming to our workshops is that they're able to go, as soon as they complete their workshop, they're able to go right across the aisle and they're able to shop in our boutique. They can get things like Pampers, wipes. They can get clothing for themselves. They can get shoes. They can get hygiene products. And all of this, they don't use real money for. They use their GLAM bucks for. Okay. And everything is priced. So it's like shopping in a store, except they're using their GLAM bucks. We work with students ages 13 to 24 years old to match what Career Source does, since they're one of our partners.
I love it. I love it. And so go to www.girlsleaveamark.org and you will find a tab where you could donate and sponsor and all of those good things. I wanted to let you do that because Simone is like on point. Like you could just, she could be doing something. Hey, what's GLAMour Tag about? And yep. She'll spill it because she's passionate about it. And you know, being someone who is affiliated with the nonprofit, and just being able to see how you have evolved. We were talking about being able to spread the message about GLAMour Tag and getting support for GLAMour Tag, and then all of a sudden on my phone, it's like memories, like Facebook memories, and it was like the 1 year anniversary of when you first came on to the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast to talk about Girls Leave a Mark. And I was like, this date is perfect because it is exactly 1 year today from the first time you talked about it. And so why not do a comeback on just in a year? So in a year, where has GLAM come from in just 1 year?
So we now have a new office. We have
So pretty, y'all.
Yes. We are located in downtown Winter Haven. So we still have our Lake Woods office, but it's just like a small suite that we use. And, sometimes we had to compete for the room, like to do our workshops or hold meetings and things like that. And I really wanted us to have like our own empowerment hub.
Yeah.
Our girls, but anybody in the community who needs help applying for jobs, who needs help with their resume, who wants to go back to school but doesn't know where to start. I wanted to have a place where they can do that. And now we have it. So we are located right in Old Town Square. We went from a 250 square foot space to almost 2,000.
That's what I was like. I wish we could have done like just pan or just like snap, all of these. I'm gonna send me some photos and I'm gonna put it with this episode. I'm like, oh my gosh, like really, like that's a comeback in itself.
It is.
God, using your resources effectively, doing the necessary work, boom, from a small office space to over 2,000 square feet. Like, come on.
And we have everything in-house now. So we have our hygiene closet here. Before, when we had the small office, we had a storage unit that we turned into our closet. Now we have a whole room that's decorated so beautifully because I didn't want these girls feeling like, oh, we're coming to a garage to shop, and you say, oh, be grateful, but come on now, they're teenagers. They're gonna feel some type of way shopping in the garage, and I want them to have the best experience, like they're shopping in Charlotte Russe or Forever 21. Yeah. And when they come to the GLAM closet now, that's exactly what it feels like because it's glammed out. It's glammed.
It is. Gold and hot pink and black and all of that good stuff. It is
pretty,
very cute. And then just in doing starting at the point of just doing community drives where we ask for donations of things that your child would need, your baby would need, baby goods, bring, gently used or new clothing for the girl, shoes, anything that you think a young mother or an at-risk youth would need. And it's just to see what those donations have surmounted to. It is incredible. It's just like, wow, it is a GLAM closet. You just said 𝐺𝑒𝑚A just came in and did some shopping. So
just about, this would probably be 𝐺𝑒𝑚A's third time coming.
𝐺𝑒𝑚A, stay out the closet.
𝐺𝑒𝑚A, come
to the closet.
𝐺𝑒𝑚A is the reason why we got into this building. She helped us into this space. Yeah. So every time she comes and visits me, it's like open door policy. She will come here every time. I interrupted the meeting I was having with my virtual assistant just to go out there and talk to her. And she had 3 clutches from the shop. So how the shop works is our participants, when they shop, they use their GLAM bucks. When regular people just come in, they use actual bucks, but our stuff is priced so cheap, are inexpensive, and we don't take anything that's B quality or less. So if you are donating, if it has stains on it, if it was up in your attic or in your basement, which most people don't have a basement in Florida, but if it was up somewhere somewhere that wasn't touched for years, 9 times out of 10, I hate to break it to you, but we don't want it. And it's not to sound ungrateful, but we want these girls to have good quality clothes. I hate to say this, but we got something that had some business on it. And it's like, come on, why would you donate that? And not only that, it's going to be people coming in buying these items too. So, it's just a matter of getting the right quality. And girl, when you walk in the closet now, I had to stop myself from shopping. I already bought that black romper I had on a couple weeks back. Our stuff is so reasonable. Like you can get jeans for $10. You can get blouses for $5. Like I'm talking about nice blouses. We have a Michael Kors person there right now for $15. We have a Coach person there for $20.
Yeah.
Like it's some nice stuff. It's going to be hard for me to resist shopping.
And so all of those items are items that the girls can purchase with their Glam Bucks, and they earn their Glam Bucks by attending the various workshops that Glam offers. And so tell us about the workshops.
So we do our workshops every Thursday. Over the summer, we've been doing them in the office from 1 to 5, and we're actually about to start our July series. So if you have a kid that's between the ages of 13 and 19 for the workshops, because we've partnered with Career Source, and that is their age limit, 13 to 19. So if you have girls or boys, it doesn't have to be girl. We have 4 boys in our class, actually. So if you have girls or boys ages 13 to 19, you want to get them out the house, you want them to be learning something, bring them down to our office. Each week we talk about something different. We had a discussion about red flags, setting boundaries. We bring in guest speakers. The last one, we had 𝐿𝑒𝑎𝑣𝑒 in here, talking about financial literacy. And then we had Miss Taylor. How do you pronounce Taylor's last name? I want to say it's Gonzalez, something like that. She is a beauty contestant for Jamaica, and she just talked about the inner beauty. Everybody thinks that, beauty pageant contestants are like, ooh, but no, there's so much inner beauty behind that. And when you hear her story and when you hear her speak, it was like, wow, I was just like blown back. I never even knew this side to beauty pageants, and to see the youth engaging and asking questions, it was phenomenal. So over the summer, we offer our workshops here. Like I say, we do them every Thursday. And then when school starts back, we'll be right back in the school. We've been at Ridge now since March of this year, and our plan is to get right back at Ridge. And we're also looking to get into other schools. We don't necessarily have to just work with teen parents. If we can prevent, and that's the reason why we added at-risk youth, because if we can prevent you from being a teen parent, we most certainly want to do that. I remember I want to say it was about, when ZK and Simone had that a community event in downtown Winter Haven, and I'll never forget, this young woman came up to me and she was like, "Hey, does your nonprofit help teenage girls?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I said, "But they have to be like a teen mom." And she was like, "Oh, why do they have to be a teen mom?" Like, she just went in. They should not have to be a teen mom. You should want to prevent them from being a teen mom. I said, "I get that, love, but that's not what our mission is. Our mission is to help teen moms," right? But I told her about the other organizations, Damisha Fleming, LaKenya Stokes, that have nonprofits that helps all girls. And she wasn't trying to hear it. She wanted to know why my organization didn't do it. Fast forward, now we've added that layer to where we help at-risk youth.
Yeah.
And I end up seeing her at the event that you just hosted for the Juneteenth event in Winter Haven. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, "You come here."
I got something for you. I have an update.
Yes, I told her. So I
gave you a little update.
Yes, I gave her a hug, and I was like, "Girlfriend, thank you so much." And me and her used to work together a long time ago. It used to be me, her, Lou from That podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What is his name? The short black. I always forget his name. But anyway, I ended up seeing her, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, because of what you said, I actually gave it a lot of thought, and we now have expanded to help at-risk youth as well." And she was like, "Thank you so much." She was supposed to end up coming by that week, but I haven't seen her. But it was just, when she said that, it kind of like spoke volumes. Like, yeah, we should want to prevent them from being a teen parent, so they don't have to go through all that. Absolutely. Not saying that you're not going to have obstacles, but at least you won't have that one, because that's a big one. I had 2 by the time I graduated. So
yeah. Huge. And so you not only are in-house with the organization, there are some events that you invite the community into. So talk to me about the event calendar, and what should people keep their eyes out for if they want to help and support GLAM.
Yes, ma'am. So we are opening our doors officially to the public tomorrow. So you'll be able to come in here and shop, hang out. I'm debating if I want to get, like refreshments, because I'd be real mad if nobody don't come.
Yeah.
So if you do plan on coming, y'all, let me know so that way I can get some refreshments. And then we have our Chili's Give Back Night. I got all my dates right here. So if you see me look right here, it's because I didn't want to forget nothing. I knew you were going to ask this question. We have our Chili's Give Back Night, August 7th, from 4 to 9 p.m. I actually added it to our website and ask people to tell us what time they plan on coming so that way I can make sure that I'm there. Then we have our award ceremony for our summer youth, August 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. Location still pending. And I'm sorry, the Chili's Give Back Night is the Winter Haven Chili's.
Yeah.
The one off of Cypress Gardens. And then the award ceremony, that'll be August 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. That's for our summer youth. Like I said, location is still pending on that one. We are also doing our ribbon cutting that day as well. That's from 4 to 5 p.m. with the Winter Haven Chambers of Commerce. Then we have something special for our sponsors that they don't even know about until they hear this. So I'm going to be sending them an email between today and tomorrow, but we're going to be doing our sponsorship luncheon. So all of our sponsors or anyone who's interested in being a sponsor and just want to know more about what we're doing and how they can be a sponsor, we'll be doing a sponsor luncheon on September 13th. We are hoping to raise about $175 to secure the venue, which will be the Winter Haven Chambers of Commerce. And I think that is it as far as our events.
Yes. And so we do have a huge, like a big gala that is annually. And so it's a fundraiser. Do we have a date for next year or a roundabout time where people can start, gearing up for that so they can make sure that they support us?
Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. So we are looking to do our Mama Mix and Mingle. That would, before it used to be a fundraiser. Now we're transitioning that as like the networking mixer. Yeah. And then we're wanting to do a gala in October. So our Mama Mix and Mingle next year will be in May. Not sure of the date yet. We'll decide at the board meeting tomorrow. And then our gala, our October, it will be in October of 2026. I don't know the date yet. We'll be deciding that tomorrow too.
Awesome. Awesome. All good. I wanted to be able to afford you this opportunity because GLAM, Girls Leave a Mark, is growing. Like I'm so proud of the accomplishments. You are boots on the ground. Your daughter Kira is right there with you, holding the torch, pushing, and serves as the president of Girls Leave a Mark and does a phenomenal job as well. Mm-hmm. And it is some heart work that is going into the initiatives of GLAM, and it's just to see you work, to see like your heart pour into it, and you don't stop. And like you said, like she does not take no for an answer. Like she's gonna ask, she's gonna just move. Like if you have not seen her at one of your chamber events or chamber meetings, I'm not sure how. If you it's like even like in the circles that I'm moving in, I'm like, there's Simone. Yep. Hey, Simone, there's Simone, and I absolutely love that. It's just a testament to the purpose and the mission that you have, and the real work that you really want to accomplish with your nonprofit. So I just say kudos to you, kudos to everyone involved with Girls Leave a Mark, and this organization has come a very long way.
It has.
That is just to be celebrated,
It really is. Like I remember talking to Quanda about it, and I was like, "Yeah," I said, "Girl, I think I want to start this nonprofit called Girls Leave a Mark. It's going to be to support teenage moms." And she was like, "Oh, really? Well, sign me up." I was like, "Sign you up? What you mean, sign you up?" She was like, "I want to be a part of it. I want to help. How much you need?" And I was like, "Is you for real?" She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Send me a cash out. You can request how much you need to get everything going." I was like, "Okay, well, it's gonna take some time. I gotta figure it out." But literally, Quanda, all I did was just kind of run my idea by her, and she was like, "Nope, send me how much you need," and she helped me with all of it. So
that's what I'm talking about. That is it. That's your business bestie, yes, and so that's what you know what. That's just it. That is just it. What you need. If I have it to give you,
yep.
You need. That's all. That's all.
That literally was all. My mama always said, "Closed mouths don't get fed." So if you don't tell the people what you need, how they gonna know what you need? Like none of us are mind readers. I wish I was, but we're not.
Listen,
So,
I'm literally about to circle back to a conversation that somebody just had with me yesterday about that. What do you need? You don't tell me, I don't know.
Exactly.
So I'm getting out of my comfort zone and just being like, "You supposed to read my mind. You supposed to know what I want." Nope.
No.
Nope. Cannot be afraid to ask for it. And when you say that, like I just know that had to mean a lot to you, because you still light that torch for Quanda. Like, I know she had to be a very strong point in you starting and then you continuing. So shout out to you, Quanda, because
Yes.
we still give you homage, all the time. So you are still rocking and rolling with us, and so we are still wishing you well in all that you are doing. But yeah, you were at the cornerstone, you were at that foundation of Leave a Mark. And so I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So Simone, in closing, is there anything that you want to say regarding the organization, the nonprofit? I'm just so proud of you and just so proud of the work that you're doing with these girls, because just being able to meet them and seeing their babies, and I don't get to see them as much as you do. So I know that just in the short amount of time that I got to see them, and you're seeing them on a weekly basis, you are literally checking in with them. You're asking them, what do they need? What can we do? Some of them have graduated this year. Like, that is amazing.
Yes, it is.
That is just, it is just, you're doing wonderful work along with the board and the community. So send us out of here. What would you like for us to know? What would you like for us to do? Give us a call to action, all that good stuff.
I got 3 asks. So actually I got 4 asks.
4.
So my first ask is that if anyone who's watching this, if you can please go to our Facebook, our Instagram, and our YouTube. Our YouTube is not as popping, but it will be, I promise. But our Facebook and Instagram definitely are getting it together. As Girls Leave a Mark, if you go and you follow the page and then you hit the 3 dots and you invite 1,000 friends. You do not have to click each one. I promise you, I wouldn't do you like that. You just click 1,000 friends, invite 1,000 friends, and it will invite 1,000 of your friends to our page so they can see all the amazing things that we're doing. So that's our first ask.
Yes.
Our second ask is for referrals. So if you know anyone out there, if you know any young mom, young dad, at-risk youth, ages 13 to 24 that just need some guidance, they been through some things, whatever, just send them our way. We now have a licensed mental health therapist that will be offering for free. Her name is Carnisha Collins. You'll get a chance to meet her at the board meeting. She will be doing 5 sessions a week with our youth. Mental health sessions. And I'm talking about individual, like a paid therapist. That's what she is. But she's giving this service to us for free. And she's giving us 5 hours a week to meet with 5 of our youth to offer mental health therapy, which is just phenomenal. Like, I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. And then we're also asking for resources. So if you know anyone that would love to partner with us or do anything with us, definitely send them our way. Any type of resources that you have out there. And then, of course, sponsorships and donations. We desperately need sponsorships and donations. So if you are moved by this and you're like, hey, I want to get involved. And if you can't involve money, we always ask you for your time. There's 1,000,005 things to do here. And so if you can't give money, always give time, but we most certainly need the money.
Absolutely.
So if you have the resources and you have, the spare change to do it, we definitely recognize you on all of our platforms. Depending on what sponsorship level you are, you also get recognition on our website as well. And then, of course, you'll get recognition at the sponsorship luncheon as well. And at all of our events and galas, we want to recognize our sponsors. But we definitely are needing sponsorships and donations. They start off at $300 for our silver package, all the way up to $3,500 to our corporate package. Yes. The sponsorships can be split up. So if you say, hey, girl, I ain't got $300 all at once, but I can give you $100 here, $100 here, $100 here. We do have sponsors that do that. If you say, hey, I can give you $25 a month, that's fine. If you say, hey, I can give you $10 a month, whatever you can give, we would gladly and happily accept. And we, like I say, we do send you out the donation form so you are able to claim it on your taxes and all of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And definitely give the website one more time.
Yes, so our website is www.girlsleaveamark.org. Our phone number is 877-882-5379 extension 3.
I love it. Listen, so on this fantastic Monday, the first Monday of July, we spotlighted Girls Leave a Mark. And so make sure you support them, make sure you follow them, make sure you share and you hit the three dots on Facebook to share Girls Leave a Mark with 1,000 friends. I promise you hit the three dots, 1,000 friends are listed. You click share, and that's it. You are just inviting them to like the page. And so please do that over and over and over. And then share, because word of mouth is so powerful. So,
Yes.
Simone, thank you so much for being my special guest for about the 10th time. But no, I think we're actually going on the fifth time. The fifth time of the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast. That's just how amazing she is, because she was on here before as an entrepreneur. And then her and her husband came on, and then as a new mommy, and then talked about Girls Leave a Mark last year, and now we're talking about Girls Leave a Mark this time. So we love the inspiration that you bring. You really truly embody the fact that you can come back from anything, because you definitely follow the formula, which is to use God, use your resources effectively, and to do the necessary work. So I appreciate your time, madam. And so I would love for you guys to be a part of my Jazzie crew, just like Simone is. All you have to do is follow me on Facebook, IG, and on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, follow me on all of my podcast platforms, whatever is your favorite. And then also make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section, a review in the comment section. I love the emojis and all of that, but I want to hear your voice. Like, what did you like about the episode? What do you want to know more about in the episode? That true engagement to be a part of my Jazzie crew. And then also make sure you hit that notification bell. So I will see you back here for episode 159. And I would love to see you in person at my 4-year podcast anniversary live show going down this year, November 8th. So I will see you soon. Have a great Monday. See you later, Mom. Thank you.